Hi. Today, we will explain the storyline of the movie Dangerous Lies, which was released in 2020. Okay, let's get right to the story. Katie is a waitress at a food stall. Today, she is working the night shift. She delivers food to a customer named Adam, who is a graduate student majoring in sociology. Adam is so tired from studying that he falls asleep at the table. A few minutes later, Adam and Katie are enjoying each other's company in the backseat of a car, talking about their future and motivating each other. Katie couldn't take a long break, so she asked Adam to go back to the restaurant and continue working. They entered through the back door. They heard a commotion inside the restaurant. Katie peeked in and saw that they were being robbed. One of the robbers pointed a gun at another customer and demanded his valuables and money. On the floor, she saw that her coworker had been killed. Adam grabbed a frying pan and crept up behind the robber. The robber didn't notice Adam's approach, and after a few blows, the man fainted. Soon after, the police arrived and arrested the perpetrator. As a result of the robbery, one employee was killed, and the perpetrator was charged. Meanwhile, the shop where Katie worked was temporarily closed. 4 months later, Katie started her new job, now caring for a wealthy man named Leonard, who lived alone in his large house. Leonard had never married, and the house belonged to his parents. He had no siblings. On the other hand, Katie and Adam were facing financial difficulties in their household. Adam had dropped out of college to find a decent job. However, after a month of trying, he could only secure a minimum wage job. He promised to keep searching for a better paying job to pay off their loan installments. After a small argument, Katie went out to clear her head and ended up at Leonard's house. Leonard woke up with a baseball bat, claiming he had been hearing footsteps in the house lately. He then invited Katie inside to talk. In short, Leonard learned that Katie was facing financial difficulties. He was sad that she hadn't told him sooner, as he would have been happy to help. Leonard already considered Katie a friend, but Katie said she didn't want to bother anyone else with her problems. Katie finally admitted that Adam needed a job. The next day, Katie brought Adam to meet Leonard, and they chatted in the garden like old friends. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. A real estate agent named Mickey came to offer to buy Leonard's house. Katie immediately told him that the house was not for sale and that it was highly unlikely that Leonard would want to sell it. Mickey insisted that the client interested in the house was very motivated and asked Katie to contact him if Leonard ever changed his mind. Although reluctant, Katie said she would contact Mickey. After Adam's meeting with Leonard, Adam gets a job as a gardener. The next day, Katie delivers medicine to Leonard. He is in the attic, listening to his parents' favorite vinyl records, and Leonard invites Katie to sit with him and listen to the music. As night falls, Adam and Katie return home, unaware that another car is following them. The next day, Calvin, a representative from Katie's employment agency, visited Leonard's house. Katie felt very nervous because Calvin rarely came to visit Leonard. Calvin didn't know that Adam was her husband, so he told Adam not to flirt with her while working and to focus on his work in the garden. A few hours later, Calvin left, and Leonard told Katie that he felt uncomfortable with Calvin's presence, as he had asked Katie many questions that made her feel cornered. That same day, Leonard gave Katie her paycheck, but she didn't check it until she got home. It wasn't until they arrived at the bank that Katie read the check. She was stunned to see the amount listed, $7 million. She never expected Leonard to be so generous. Adam assumed Katie had received an extraordinary pay raise. Finally, she admitted that she had told Leonard about their financial problems without Adam's permission. Adam didn't expect Katie to be so honest and accept Leonard's help so readily. Katie said she didn't accept the money. She had only asked Leonard to give Adam a job. Katie felt guilty and intended to return it to Leonard, but Leonard didn't answer his phone. Adam asked Katie to reconsider. They didn't have much time to keep going back and forth to Leonard's house, especially since the bank was about to close. If they didn't pay the bills today, the debt collectors would come to their house. Adam thought they should deposit the check to pay the bills and return the difference to Leonard tomorrow. As usual, the next day, Katie and Adam went to work at Leonard's house. After preparing Leonard's medications, Katie went up to Leonard's room. However, she didn't see Leonard there. Katie searched for Leonard in the attic where he usually relaxed while listening to vinyl records. Katie was stunned to see Leonard sitting motionless. She realized he had passed away. She immediately called Adam to the attic. Adam joined her in mourning Leonard's death and stayed with Katie. Adam noticed a key falling from Leonard's hand. He picked it up and searched for what it was for. He found a large box containing old photos, letters, and newspaper clippings. Katie felt it was inappropriate to go through Leonard's personal belongings. She suggested calling 911. But as she stood up, she accidentally opened another layer beneath the photos. They were both startled to see the money filling the box. Adam and Katie then discussed what to do with the money. Adam thought that since Leonard had no heirs or relatives, the money would be taken by the government. He regretted that they weren't using it. Katie, however, said that Leonard had always cared about her and wanted to help her. Maybe the money was meant to be hers. Without thinking twice, Katie agreed, but they had to be careful how they used it. After that, Katie called 911. Shortly thereafter, a detective named Chesler arrived to ask Katie some questions, such as when she started working for Leonard and when she last saw him. Detective Chesler also asked if Leonard had been experiencing any health issues lately. Katie only replied that Leonard had been taking a lot of medication, but had never complained about feeling sick. Before the detective left, Katie mentioned that Leonard had once told her he wanted his body cremated and his ashes scattered in the garden. After Leonard's death, Katie tried to find a new job through her agent, Calvert. Katie also suggested that Adam look for a new job if she couldn't get one. The next day, Katie went to a job placement agency, while Adam was still thinking about the money they had found. At home, he tried to find job openings he could apply for, and at the same time, he received news that his last job interview had failed. Unfortunately, Katie couldn't find a new job either while the police were still investigating Leonard's death. Calvert explained that it was agency policy, not because he suspected Katie was involved in Leonard's death. After hearing the rejection, Adam went to Leonard's house, opened the box, and organized the money inside. Suddenly, he heard the sound of broken glass below. Adam rushed down to check. He saw the door slightly open and the glass shattered. Before he could think further, someone struck him on the head from behind. A few moments later, Adam was awakened by the sound of his phone in his pocket. Katie quickly followed Adam to Leonard's house. She was furious seeing Adam go in alone and open the trunk. Adam told Katie that he had counted most of the money in the trunk. So far, the amount reached $92,000, and there was still a lot more left. Katie was shocked to hear that. Adam then explained that his proposal had been rejected, and he was tired of searching for solutions to their financial problems. Katie changed the subject and speculated about who might have hit Adam until he lost consciousness. Katie remembered that Leonard had hired a gardener a few years ago. Adam said, "Whoever it was must know Leonard was dead, and the house was empty." Katie was worried the person might return, so they agreed to secure the money in their bank-safe deposit box. They were unaware that Mickey, the real estate agent, was watching their every move. The next day, Chesler left a message on Katie's voicemail, requesting a meeting with Katie to discuss Leonard's cremation arrangements. Adam accompanied Katie the following day. After explaining what they needed, Katie quickly agreed to handle the cremation costs. At the funeral home, after cremating Leonard, Katie said that they should return the money. Suddenly, a woman named Julia appeared and quoted a poem. She introduced herself as Leonard's lawyer, but Katie said that Leonard had never mentioned Julia's name. Julia claimed that Leonard had contacted her shortly before he died, and that she herself had only found out about Leonard's death a few weeks ago. Leonard had called her to the house to handle his will, specifically asking her to come at night, which is why Katie had never seen her before. However, there was another reason Julia couldn't meet Katie. She pulled out a document and said that Leonard had left all his assets to Katie. Seeing her name on the document, Katie couldn't hide her happiness. Before Katie could receive the inheritance, Julia said she needed to speak with Katie's lawyer, but Katie said she didn't have a personal lawyer. Julia wasn't concerned about that, as Leonard had already paid her in advance to handle the transition of moving them into Leonard's house. They could move in immediately, but there would be a 3-month trial period. If anything unexpected arose, they would need to be prepared to handle it. After meeting with Julia, Adam and Katie had dinner at their new home while planning what to do next. Katie kept asking him to be patient and not to rush into spending their money. Back at the apartment, Katie was busy packing their belongings. That afternoon, Adam received a call from the police station asking him to give a statement about the robbery at Katie's shop. Adam admitted that he had already spoken to someone and given his statement 5 months ago. Long story short, Adam arrived at the police station. Detective Chesler saw Adam and asked him what he was doing there. The officer said someone had called Adam and told him to give a statement, but didn't mention a name. Detective Chesler was surprised to find Adam at the scene of the crime, especially since he had helped save the situation. Adam was confused as to why the police still needed his statement, especially since the suspect had already been sentenced. Chesler explained that the suspect had been stabbed to death in his cell, leaving Adam even more confused about who had called him. As Adam left, Katie saw Mickey appear in the backyard. Mickey was still trying to sell the house. Katie firmly refused, stating that the house was not for sale. Katie tried to chase Mickey away, but Mickey insisted. He knew the house's owner was dead, but he didn't believe Katie when she told him that she was the current owner. Mickey left and promised to come back. Katie thinks she needs Julia's help to keep an eye out in case Mickey returns. Adam tries to calm Katie down and tells her that Mickey is just trying to scare her and won't dare do anything. The next day, Chesler reinvestigates the robbery at the shop where Katie works, then meets Katie, who is tidying up her apartment. Katie explains that she is getting ready to move into Leonard's house. She hadn't told Chesler about the will, so he was quite surprised to hear that Katie had inherited something from Leonard. Chesler then admitted that he had come to see Adam, but Adam wasn't there, so he asked Katie first. Chesler asked if Adam always picked Katie up every night, and Katie said, not always. That night, Katie asked Adam to pick her up, and Adam arrived early so he could study while waiting for Katie. Chesler's smile suggested he suspected something, so Katie asked if this had anything to do with the phone call asking for information about Adam. Chesler said the police had never asked Adam to come in. They had checked Adam's phone records, but found no evidence that anyone had called him. Hearing this, Katie becomes even more certain she needs Julia's help. Later that afternoon, Julia drives Katie home. From a distance, Adam sees them saying goodbye affectionately. Without beating around the bush, he demands an explanation from Katie. Feeling hurt that she didn't discuss it with him first, Katie told him that her sudden decision came after Chesler came to the apartment to talk to Adam and the incident at the cafe. However, Adam also forgot to tell Katie about the phone call. Adam didn't know who called him, but he admitted that he felt like he was being followed lately, as he had seen the same car while driving around. Katie was worried that the person was after the money in their deposit, but Adam wasn't sure about his own instincts. On the other hand, Chesler was now investigating the history of Leonard's check cashing on Katie's behalf, and he also asked for Katie's husband to be investigated. Chesler then met with Katie's employer, Calvin. Calvin never expected Leonard to write a will for Katie. Chesler asked if Calvin knew Katie's husband well, and Calvin admitted he didn't know who he was. However, after Chesler told him that the gardener was her husband, he realized that violated agency regulations. Chesler then showed Calvin a photocopy of the check Katie had deposited and asked if Katie had ever received a raise. Calvin was shocked to see the amount and immediately wondered if Katie had taken Leonard's money, which was also Chesler's question. Meanwhile, Katie thought of a new possibility. She thought that Leonard couldn't have just kept the money. It could belong to someone else. Julia said that if they found anything illegal in the house, Katie and Adam would lose everything. That afternoon, Katie searched for Adam around the house, suspecting he was in the tool shed. Katie didn't see Adam there, but she noticed another door behind the shelves. Katie went inside and found several checks made out to Ethan that had never been cashed. Above them, Katie saw a bag, but when she moved it aside, she saw a decomposing body. Several diamonds fell out of the bag, and Katie suspected they belonged to Ethan, the gardener from several years ago. She became even more certain because Leonard had said Ethan had suddenly disappeared. According to Adam's observations, Ethan had been shot because he had stolen and hidden a bag of diamonds, which he had then hidden in Leonard's shed. After a lengthy argument, Adam decided to dispose of Ethan's body. The next day, Katie met Julia and told her that Chesler was suspecting Adam. Julia asked if there was any motive that could involve Adam in Leonard's death. Katie said Adam was afraid of becoming poor. They went to the bank to check Katie's deposit box and were shocked to find it empty. Julia told Katie to find Adam and stop him from taking the diamonds, because if Chesler suspected them, he would immediately issue a search warrant. Upon returning home, Adam revealed that he had found out who Mickey was. Mickey wasn't a real estate agent, but a former convict who had been sentenced for stealing $3 million worth of diamonds from a jewelry store. The police were investigating, and he had a partner he had shot during the robbery, named Ethan. Adam told Katie to pack because they had to leave immediately before Mickey returned. Unfortunately, Mickey managed to sneak into the house and asked where the diamonds were. Katie called out to Adam, who appeared from another direction, but Adam refused to give him the diamonds. A shootout ensued, and both were shot and killed instantly. Julia arrived shortly after Katie called, instructing her to hide the diamonds before Chesler found them. Surprisingly, Julia knew the value of the diamond, even though Katie had never told her. She finally admitted that she had been Mickey's public defender when handling his case. They made a deal, but the diamond was held by Ethan. Julia tried to find out where Ethan was, but it was too late. Ethan was already dead. For that reason, she pretended to make a will for Leonard so she could get the diamond back. Chesler arrived just in time as Julia threatened to shoot Katie. Quickly, Chesler positioned himself to avoid Julia's bullets. Julia fell after 2 shots. 4 months later, Chesler visited Katie, who was pregnant. He informed her that Leonard's case had been closed, with Julia and Mickey as the suspects. But Chesler still hadn't found where Adam had hidden the diamond.